Hello, and welcome to the introduction video for the first season of the SDL. In this video, I'm going to go over all of the rules for the league, as well as how to install and use the additional programs we'll be using throughout the course of the league. So, to start off with the rules for the Draft League. We're going to start off here in column C, and we'll go through each column progressively. It is up to the players and their competitor to schedule their match within the weeks. Each scheduling takes place in the scheduling channel within the Discord channel or in the DMs with your opponent. If a player, for whatever reason, cannot play their game that week, it'll be pushed to next week. Please try to avoid this. It puts a lot of stress on both players having to prepare for multiple games within a week. After a match is completed, designate one player to upload the match to the replay channel. I will show everybody how to do that later. All matches will be take place on the PokemonShowdown.com and the NatDex draft here. I will show all of that later. Please do not forfeit matches, as Pokemon's stats from games will be recorded, and I would like to have complete stats. If you and your opponent agree to it, you may announce when you're going to play so other players can watch it live in the Discord. We can have watch parties of other people playing the games. Matches are intended to be best of one, but if you and your opponent want to do best of threes, I will not stop you. The season length and playoff format are not yet determined. That'll be decided based on the final count of the players. Now for the draft. The draft is, we could have done points, but we have a lot of people doing their first draft league. I want to keep it more simple. So, here is the list of Pokemon that are draftable. There's a lot in RU. I'll get to that in a minute. You can draft 3 Pokemon from the OU tier, which is all of these Pokemon. You can draft 1 Pokemon from UUBL, which are these Pokemon here. You can draft 3 Pokemon from the UU tier, which are these Pokemon here. 1 Pokemon from RUBL, which are the Pokemon here. And then 4 Pokemon from RU. This is not every Pokemon that is in RU. I compiled every Pokemon that I think has a use and put them here. That does not mean that you must draft from this list. You might have a Pokemon that suits a very particular niche that you want to use, and it's not on this list. You can use it. I will show you how to look at the entire RU tier later. Now, during the draft, you don't have to draft in the order of 3 OU, 1 UUBL, 3 UU, 1 RUBL, and 4 RU. You can start by drafting a Celgor as your first Pokemon if you really want it. Just by the end of the draft, you'll have to draft a number of Pokemon from each tier. But you can also choose to downgrade a pick. If you really want Dondozo and Mega Gallade on your team, you can choose to draft 2 Pokemon from OU and draft Dondozo and Mega Gallade from UUBL. You may always trade a higher level Pokemon for a lower level Pokemon. Now, if you want to draft all 12 Pokemon from RU, you can do that. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can. Next, during the season, you can make 3 free agency transactions. Players can swap a Pokemon for another one of their tier or below. So, once again, let's say you have drafted Ceruledge, and after week 4, you've realized it has done nothing, and you don't want Ceruledge anymore. You can trade Ceruledge for any Pokemon in OU that is not claimed by another player, or a Pokemon from any tier below. You may do this 3 times throughout a season, and you cannot reacquire a Pokemon you've previously dropped. If you decide, I'm swapping Ceruledge for Dondozo, you cannot next week trade Dondozo to try to get Ceruledge back again. Or in this case, let's say you trade Ceruledge for Cinderace. You cannot then drop Cinderace to get Ceruledge again because you couldn't have traded Dondozo for a Ceruledge anyways because it's a tier below. So you can only trade down tiers, you can never trade up tiers. Players can make 3 trades with other players throughout the regular season as they desire. You can trade a Pokemon of any value for a Pokemon of any value because you don't know exactly what the other person might need and what you need. There could be a reason that you want to trade a UU Pokemon for an RU Pokemon if it really fits your team that much better. For a trade to be official, both players will have to DM me the trade so that I can confirm both players have agreed to the trade. After the trade is complete, please write, after you make a transaction, either a free agency dropping or a transaction through trade, please write it in the transactions channel in the Discord. The channel is right here. It is this one right here. You'll write in here something, for example, let's say I have decided that I am going to trade. Once again, let's say I've decided I'm going to drop Ceruledge for Dondozo. I would type in Ceruledge. I could do Ceruledge out Dondozo added. Post it there. Now people can see exactly what transaction has happened. Once it is posted there, I will then update it on the spreadsheet for your team. For trades and free agent swaps must take place on the first day of the week, and for free agent swaps, it is first come, first serve. If a player messages me earlier that they want to make a swap, and then a player messages me later that day that they also want to swap for the same Pokemon, that is why I recommend you make it public the second you decide to make a swap, so that way other players know the Pokemon is no longer available. Now for the rules on what can be used on Pokemon. The following moves are banned on all Pokemon: Hidden Power, Double Team, Minimize, Shed Tail, Last Respects, Fizzer, Horde Drill, Guillotine, and Sheer Cold. Outside of Hidden Power, these are all incredibly common to be banned. They're banned across every Smogon tier that they exist in. The reason why Hidden Power is banned is because it can become any type, and that gives a huge advantage to special attackers, allowing them to really customize their moveset to specifically the opponent, and it creates a lot of variance and it's very hard to prep for. The following abilities are banned on all Pokemon: Arena Trap and Shadow Tag. This is very standard outside of Generation 3 to ban these two trapping abilities. The metal version of this, Magnapole, is allowed because it is extremely niche. Very few Pokemon get it, and even the ones that do get it, it only works on steel types. Moody is banned because it adds a ton of luck to the game and can raise evasion, which is banned anyways, raising evasion through Minimize and Double Team. And Power Construct is banned because Zygarde Complete is ridiculously broken and is not allowed. The following items are banned on all Pokemon: Bright Powder, King's Rock, Razor Fang, and Lax Incense. These all add just a lot of variance to the game with added luck, whether it's Bright Powder and Lax Incense adding dodge, or King's Rock and Razor Fang adding flinch. The following combinations are banned. You may not have on a Pokemon Sand Veil and a way to set sand on the same team. You cannot have Snow Cloak and a way to set snow on the same team. But you can run one of these abilities if your opponent is bringing the weather. So if you want to run Sand Veil Garchomp instead of Rough Skin, and your opponent has Tyranitar, I will allow that because to me that is more, I've prepped something to try. You are bringing a chance because they may not even bring Tyranitar, and then you have a useless Pokemon. Or you have useless ability on a Pokemon. Baton Pass with any way to raise stats is banned. To show you exactly what I mean, I'll go to Team Builder here. And let's say I want to run... let's go with Espeon, because I know it gets Baton Pass plus boosting. Espeon. I cannot, for instance, run Baton Pass and Calm Mind. I cannot have a way to boost my stats and Baton Pass. And this extends through any way to boost your stats. So the same goes for Ninjask. I cannot run Ninjask with Speed Boost and Baton Pass. I don't believe it learns it, but I could not run Bisharp with Defiant and Baton Pass. Because Baton Pass with Defiant can raise your attack. Baton Pass could pass that attack set along. You cannot have any way to raise a stat on the Pokemon that is running Baton Pass. If your opponent uses Swagger, for instance, on you and you Baton Pass, that's fine. Baton Pass can only be used to Dry Pass from yourself. Your stats can be as a person, that's on them. But you cannot choose to raise your own stats and then pass. That includes berries, that includes health items. You cannot run something like Absorb Bulb, which... where's Absorb Bulb? There it is. Which raise special attack rate by water type. You cannot run that plus Baton Pass because that's another way to raise your stats. Next up, Terastallization completely is banned. The entire mechanic is banned because it provides way too much variance, and it's a lot of people's first draft league, and didn't want to make it more complicated. I also forgot to mention over here, all Z crystals are banned. They are extremely powerful and create a ton of more variance and ways to break through teams that I don't think we're going to want to deal with in our first draft league. The final Pokemon-specific rule over here is Mega Garchomp. Now, why must Mega Garchomp evolve before it attacks? It is because Garchomp is the only Mega in the game where Garchomp, in and of itself, is actually higher rated than its Mega. As we can see here, Garchomp is OU, and Mega Garchomp is OU by technicality. Mega Garchomp is not good, is actually worse than Garchomp, but because it lowers its speed and it has to hold Garchomp height, and it loses rough skin as well when it evolves, which is just bad for Garchomp. The reason why you must evolve is because you did not draft Garchomp, you drafted Mega Garchomp. And so you cannot keep it as its previous form. Every other Mega can delay Mega Evolution because no other Mega is inherently better than its evolution. Oh, outside of, I believe, Slowbro as well. Slowbro must Mega Evolve on the first turn as well. Because Slowbro is higher rated, or no. If you draft Mega Slowbro, you must Mega Evolve your Slowbro immediately because Mega Slowbro is down all the way here in RU, I believe. I'll add that to the rule set. I just remembered Mega Slowbro on the fly now. As you can see, there's a lot of Pokemon in this tier. That's why I didn't write all of them, because that would have taken me like an hour. Where is Slowbro? Screamtail, Shedinja, Scrafty, Silvally. There, oh no, Mega Slowbro is not in RU, is it? Where's Mega Slowbro? Was I right in enough to ban Mega Slowbro? I know, there it is. RUBL. Yeah, so you must evolve Slowbro as well into Mega Slowbro. Those are all the Pokemon-specific rules. After that, I will now show you the rest of this Excel spreadsheet. So we have the Players tab. This is where we will see the coach, along with their team name. This list is not finalized yet. I believe we are waiting on one more person to join. Over here we have the schedule tab. This will be updated weekly. This will be updated, at the start of the season to include week 1 schedule, and then this tab will include the entire schedule, and then there'll be new tabs added weekly to include the new schedule for that week. So you can just click on the week we are on to see what week we're playing on. They don't exist yet. And then here's the teams. This tab will have a list of every person in the draft league as well as the team they have drafted, so that you can go ahead and take a look at all the Pokemon they've drafted. This will be updated on draft day as well as throughout the weeks as people make transactions. That is all with the Excel spreadsheet. Now I will show you how to use Pokemon Showdown to the fullest extent that we will need. To build a team, you will click over here on New Team. You will then go to Select Format. And at least for me, down here, there's the Draft tab. It'll probably be closed for you. You're going to click on Draft. It'll then be, here's the list of different drafts. We are doing NatDex Draft. You'll then click that. You can then do Add Pokemon. And you'll then receive the list of, here is every Pokemon that is available in NatDex. So you'll skip past the Ubers here because we don't get to draft any from there. Although there are some Ubers Pokemon you can draft, like Zygarde, Walking Wake can be drafted. Palafin can be drafted. Who else can be drafted? Gouging Fire can be drafted. Dragapult can be drafted. I believe those are all the Ubers that can be drafted. I think Annihilate can be drafted. Other than that, those Ubers are all technically a part of OU because they are worse in draft than they are in singles. So they are just a part of OU. Down here, they'll be part of that pick. So here you can go ahead and add all the Pokemon you want. In case if you've never used Showdown before, you can just type Pokemon's name in here. So let's say I'm building around Garchomp. Garchomp is the first Pokemon here. I can select the item. If it is a Mega Pokemon that you have drafted, it is forced to hold the Mega Stone. If it is not 5 drafted, just regular Garchomp, I can then choose my item. Here's the list of common items. But down here's a list of every held item Pokemon has ever released, including the items down here that are seen as Pokemon-specific items, which you won't need because it'll tell you up top if you have one of those. And then the usually useless items are all down here as well. And then the fully useless items are here in case if you really want one, because maybe you're doing some fling shenanigans or some trick shenanigans and you need a very specific item. In general, you'll be sticking to the items that are potentially Pokemon specific, but normally the items in this list over here. These are where all the main items that people use are. This is like really with the main items you'll see. You might see some more. It's not bad to go through and just learn what all the items do in case if you see something very specific in a battle. You may also find an interesting strategy you want to try by finding a specific item. Then if we extend over here, we can then choose our ability. We're going to go with Rough Skin. We then can choose our moveset. These are the moves that Pokemon Showdown believes are at least usable on the Pokemon. And then if you scroll in, here's the usually useless moves. Again, there might be a very particular niche for one of these on your team because of how you're building. But these are the usual moves that Pokemon Showdown sees and goes, no one wants these on a Garchomp. These change depending on the Pokemon because every Pokemon is different. Potentially for something like in Draft, you may want Sunny Day Garchomp because someone is bringing rain. And you think if I can bring in Garchomp and I can use Sunny Day and then I can change the weather. So there could be some niche uses for some of the moves down here, although it's less likely, but because it is Draft, you do never know. Maybe, again, you're playing against Rain and you want to bring Thunderfang to hit Pelipper even harder. Then you have your EV spreads. You can drag the sliders here to get the EVs you want. You can select your nature. You can select your IVs. Pokemon Showdown will give you a recommended EV spread if you enter 4 moves. Let me just enter the top 4 moves here. Pokemon Showdown will give me a recommended EV spread. I would not recommend using these for draft because you're going to want to tailor your Pokemon specifically to the opponent. You may notice, for instance, your opponent does not have a Pokemon that is faster than 322 speed, in which case you can make your Garchomp 323 speed and outspeed everything on their team. So you may not need to maximize your stats. You may also realize that you can get away with two-shotting the entire team at 212 attack. And so you can invest the rest into something like HP or defense, depending on what you're playing against. But if you want to just do Showdown basic spreads, you can. They'll work. They are giving you generally what they would recommend this Pokemon run, but for draft you can get more specific. Now, the other thing I'm going to show you in Pokemon Showdown is how to save a replay. I'm going to quickly let me go to watch a battle. I'm just going to scroll to the bottom here and just grab a regular battle. This one's on turn 1. We're not going to grab a battle on turn 1. Come on, give me a... Can I get a battle that is late in the game? Can I please... Ooh, we got 1700 here. Turn 1. That is an interesting team. Anybody not at the very start of a battle? Oh my god. Anybody not at the start of a fight? Let me try to get some new battles. Turn 3, come on. Can someone just have a battle nearing the end so that I can show you just how it all works, but also grab their Iron Jugular's going in. Very high rate of fight over here. This is like potentially like top 10 players. Well, we can watch this for a tiny bit while I continue to look. The chat over here shows you exactly what has happened. It'll show you all the stat changes, everything that happened during the turn. Very useful to continue to look at throughout the course of a fight. That is body slam. That is crazy. I just want to show how to upload a replay, but I cannot find a battle. Right, let me do something more specific here. Let me do OU, and then let me go here. Turn 25. They are so far from the end. Oh my god. How is no one just at the end of a fight? Perfect. This fight is over. Perfect. So what you're going to do is you're going to upload and share replay. You will then get a link. You will click copy. I will then, once again, you open up the Discord. You will then go to replays. And you will post the replay in this chat. I will know whose replay it is based on who's playing. Just based on who uploads the replay. And from there, then everybody can go back and watch the battle that you had during the week. If somehow you both forget to upload the replay, it's not the end of the world. It's just if you can tell me generally what happened in the battle, because I do want to keep stats on the entire tournament. But this is the general format. You will then upload your replay there. Next up, that is all you need in Pokemon Showdown. But there's another massive tool Showdown provides, which is the damage calculator. This is going to be your best friend for figuring out what you need to bring against your opponent. Let's go back to Showdown here. Let me go grab just a random team that I have. Here, let me grab this team right here. You do import, export. You can then do Control C, come over here, go to Import Export. You can do Control Enter or Control V, and this will import your set of Pokemon into Showdown. Or into, sorry, Pokemon Showdown damage calculator. You can then click Show Only Imported Sets, and here are the Pokemon that I have brought in. So, for instance, I can grab my Garchomp here, and it'll show me up here how much damage my Garchomp will do to this Abomasnow set. If these EVs on Abomasnow, this is how much damage Garchomp will take, and this is how much damage Garchomp will do. I can change all of the effects here to be identical to the conditions that I want to see. I can add over here, I can add attack drops or attack falls. I can change my nature, my ability, my held item, my status on Garchomp, if I'm poisoned, badly poisoned, burn, paralysis, sleep, or frozen. We don't have Terra types on, so it does not matter particularly for this. You can select gender if it's relevant for your Pokemon. You can also select the level if for whatever reason you're not bringing a level 100. Down here you can change the moves. You can also see if a move is a crit, how much damage it'll deal. Z, once again, is not relevant because we're not using Z moves. But this is very useful to test against your opponent. Let's say that I need to know, I'm bringing Garchomp and my opponent has a Mega Absol. And I need to know how much damage my Earthquake will do to Mega Absol if they are running, let's say, max HP, max speed. So if they are something like this, you can see Garchomp will do 61 to 72%. This is very useful in figuring out what EVs you need, because maybe I only care about getting a 2-shot on this Pokemon. So in this case, this Garchomp has no attack investment. But let's say I want to 1-shot the Absol over here. I can then start slowly adding in attack, and you'll see the numbers changing as I add in more attack, showing how much more damage I will deal. So I can hold it down over here. If I run max attack, I'll deal 73 to 87%, which will kill after rocks most of the time. If I were to go over here and do Stealth Rock, click that on, it'll now say Earthquake will deal, the guarantee to it, okay, here's the specific amount of damage it can deal. It's guaranteed, with Stealth Rock, it is almost guaranteed to be it's pretty close to being a 1-shot. Actually, sorry, it'll never 1-shot. When you go Stealth Rock, it'll never 1-shot because Stealth Rock is 12.5%. You will always fall just short. This shows how you can use damage calculator and why you will want it. Now, as convenient as this is, during battle, it can be annoying to constantly have to come in here and be entering stats into damage calculator to see how much damage you will deal in battle, because you may enter situations you are unprepared for. And that is why I'm going to add this extension right here, Showdex. I have it installed on, I've posted a link to it as well. No file space. I keep having problems. I'm not entirely sure why. I have to figure this out. But as you can see in these images here, Showdex puts your Pokemon on the top here and your opponent's Pokemon on the bottom, and then shows you how much damage each of your moves will do according to your stats, and this changes live. So it gives the sets it believes the opponent is running based on what is commonly used on Pokemon Showdown. These will not be accurate to your opponent because you do not get to know what your opponent's stats are. But you can use it to figure out what your opponent's stats are and then change them in Showdex here to better adjust to find your damage that you are dealing. Let's say in this case the Thunderbolt did 78%. That is, if it is fighting a Slowbro, or not Slowbro, a Corviknight with 0 special defense in it, it is guaranteed to do between 70 and 83%. So this can tell you that either that was a crit, it did 78. So it kind of went right in the middle of the damage roll, which can lead you to believe that Slowbro might not be running any, or that Slowbro, I keep saying Slowbro, that because it's a Stepbro. That Corviknight may be running no special defense. But if, let's say, it only did 70%, you might be then more inclined to believe that Corviknight has special defense versus it not having special defense. So you can then press the plus and minus here to adjust the EVs. You can change the moves here, you can change the item, the nature. You can change everything you need inside of here, and it'll automatically adapt to your opponent's team. I highly, highly, highly recommend that you install this. To my knowledge, it is only on PC. There might be a phone version, but it is incredibly useful. Those are all the tools I need to show off during this. The final thing I'm going to show off is how to actually challenge an opponent. what you're going to have to do is come down here to friends. You may have to go to add friend, and you're going to have to find the person who you are playing with and add them as a friend. Now, let's say I'm going to challenge Griffiths here. If Griffiths, actually, you know what? It says Griffiths is offline. Let me open up another Pokemon Showdown tab. Let me go here, and let me load into another Showdown account that I have. Let me log into this account. Perfect. Now, if I go here to Showdown and I refresh this page, it will apparently show me page unavailable. That's interesting. Oh, it changed both of my Showdown tabs. Okay, let me go here. Let me do a new private window. Let me go to Pokemon Showdown. Hopefully this one doesn't auto-log me in. I will go to my main account. What? Perfect. Okay, there we go. I'm now on my main account. If I go to friends, it'll now show me that I don't have none of these people are online. But if I go back to that's not the right tab. If I go back to my main Showdown tab over here, I can now go to find a user and type in the user's name, click open. It'll now show me, hey, look, here's the user. You can then click on the user, by the way, and you can see all of their stats if you want for fun. That's just something you can do. But you can here click challenge. And once you click challenge, you will then go here. You will then scroll down and find the draft format. Where are they putting the draft format here? Oh, it's all the way down. You have to scroll. You can then click NatDex draft. Here's my Garchomp because I was just showing you guys. You can then click challenge. And then the opponent will have to accept. So I can come over here. Now, I don't have... oh, that's not me. Here, I can now go over here. If I go to home, it'll show me, hey, look, I'm being challenged in the NatDex draft tier. I can click accept. And now I'm in the battle. If you want to mute the audio, by the way, you go over here and you click mute sounds. So this is just, again, it's a test. I will just finish this battle quickly. I will lead Kyurem into Garchomp. Garchomp, click Brick Break. You're going to do a great job, Garchomp. And then Icicle Sphere, Brick Break, and the fight is over. Once again, after you do your fight, you will then click Upload and Share Replay. Copy this link. And if you want, you can also click Download Replay. This will give you a HTML link, an HTTP link download, which you will then store on your computer, which you can then also upload that file if you want. If you don't just want to do upload and share replay, you can do it the other way. Both work. It'll both permanently save the replay for all of us in the future. That is all I'm going to talk to you guys about today. If you have any questions, feel free to post it in the chat or DM me. But hopefully you guys all have fun participating in the Draft League. Thank you.